show where we are joined by the artist behind Pizza Ninjas. We have none other than Boozy here, who's going to be doing some live art during this show. Real quick, before the warm introduction of Boozy, and of course, joined by my co-host Fred Bills today, I do want to say that we are on phase 3 of the custom Pizza Ninja pre-sale. There is 9 hours, 4 minutes, and 14 seconds at the time of talking about this. If you're watching it right now and you're seeing on screen, if you go to pizzaninjas.com, you'll actually see that countdown live right there. So if you qualify for this, then now is your time. Once this is cut off, you're not going to be able to reserve a custom pre-sale Ninja anymore. And later we'll go on to the regular process of the minting experience. Again, this is more of a reservation. A pre-sale reservation isn't a mint. And with all that being said, the main focus today as well, while leading into the end of this phase 3, is an introduction to our art and just kind of some behind the scenes. So really nice to see Boozy join us today. What's up, Boozy? How's it going?
Hello, GM, everyone. Yeah, good to be here. It's I always like to try to make every effort to be on these live streams. It's always really challenging with my home life, my day job. That kind of keeps me locked away more often. I often sneak away from family and life late at night to work on Pizza Ninjas and the art and these things. So it's always difficult to get these streams. So it's good that today has an opportunity to do that, to check in with everyone, to say hi. I know many of holders in the past have kind of just asked me about the art process, and I've even had like requests for trades, and just kind of wanted to see a little more of a look of kind of how it works. So this was a good idea to make that a reality finally after all of this time, and hopefully continue to do things like this going forward to keep it very interactive with our holders and our Pizza Ninjas community.
Yeah, man, I think it's cool too, just to kind of see some behind the scenes. I feel like real art gets buried maybe with like a bunch of AI stuff on my timeline. So kind of seeing the nitty gritty of like what goes into art behind the scenes is something that I value, especially right now. And I will go ahead and share your screen. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Before that, I took Boozy down. And I meant to take this video down. For that, Fred, how are you doing today, man? How are you feeling about this experience?
Excellent, and I think generative art makes this so fun for the artist, where it's just a box of chocolates, Boozy. Like, I'm wondering how this is for you. Like, what are like some of the surprises for you throughout this process of this customizer and this generator? It's probably the first time that you've worked exactly in this fashion on your art like this. So I'm just curious, what is the surprise in this for you?
Man, the surprise, honestly, like off the top of my head is, as I look into the dashboard and see where we are with the current selections, the current pre-sale ninjas that have been selected, I'm always surprised at the traits that people lean towards. I guess I'm not surprised, I guess that's probably the wrong word, because the first time we did the collection, I found myself surprised that people were selecting traits that I would have thought maybe would have been least favorable. And then it's like the opposite.
Call them out, dude. Like specific, like what's one that comes to your mind?
Like for example, like the eye guy has been kind of a hit this time around, and I wasn't sure. I didn't think he would be. I thought he'd be more like a weird character that people may not resonate with, but it seems like he's quite popular. More so than I expected. And then these like weird color combos, like. And art is subjective, right? So it's everyone likes what they like, and that's one thing great about the Pizza Ninjas collection is there's so many options from different traits, from colors. Now the character types are up to like close to like 25 or 30 character types within the collection now. And as I scrolled through this pre-sale, I really did expect to see a lot more of those like monochromatic types that I know, Chris, you like that style too, and where it's kind of like the ninja you see here on my screen. It's just like, limited in color, very clean aesthetic. But as I scroll through this, there's a lot of selections that are just kind of wild, like crazy color combinations. I don't want to share them, on the screen or anything, but there's one that really stands out at me. That's a sloth that is like, it's got every single color in the collection on it. I'm talking like everything. It's like a rainbow threw up on this sloth, and it's awesome. It's probably one of my favorite ones I've seen so far, just because of how like off the wall that it is. And things like that, I don't expect. I expected to look at this and just see nothing but clean ninjas, very simple color. But I'm once again surprised. People's tastes are just all over the place, and that's why this tool is so great, right? You get to pick, feminine to masculine, minimal color to crazy amounts of color, minimal traits to a lot of traits. So there's really is something for everyone. But yeah, it's always so much fun to see these come through. I check this like a few times a day to get
We
an
do have
idea
your
where people
screen
are
being
going.
shared right now. We can actually go into the art a little bit later, but you're kind of going through some of the stuff with me and Fred earlier. I don't know if you wanted to show anything while we're talking. Instead,
From
you're
the
right now.
actual collection, or
You're pumping Rosie's bags. Isn't that
oh
Rosie's
yeah,
ninja?
that's right.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. Just I think some of the details is fun. Yeah, this is cool. So this is actually an idea that Ken and I had to talk about the pre-sale that was coming out, because I wanted to know people's favorite off the top, like, just from the community's votes. At the time, however, I didn't realize that we weren't really showing anything yet, but I did kind of, I don't know, if you're following the Pizza Ninja pages, you probably saw a leak of this. That was me. And basically I was trying to gather, like, what the favorite was. And I think I know I did the raccoon, the owl, maybe chameleon, and one other, but ended up it was the raccoon out of those four that was the people's favorite. But I wanted to do like a whole bracketed tournament, of like four. I think it would have basically been like 4 rounds of four, with one of them being three, and then it would have been like the winners face each other. I thought that'd be cool. But yeah, man, the eye guy, I feel like the eye guy just stands out. You got Ken influencing the eye guy. He's been a big eye guy evangelist since he
yeah,
saw it.
he's cool. He's a really cool one, man. Like it's
when I see the eye guy, it gives me the Big Brother vibe. It gives me the Ninja Alerts Co. Evil Co. kind of like watchful eye over everything in the Pizza Ninjas world vibe.
totally. I definitely want to see him go into the evil villain side of the lore, with Evil Ninja Alerts Corp. I mean, he's definitely like he has that like surveillance vibe. Like he's almost like a watcher or something. Like rats you out for doing things you shouldn't be doing in the ninja world or something.
And Boozy, when we have a creative person like you, right, a creative wizard, there's lots of voices inside of you as you create this art, I'm assuming. Does seeing these kind of like this expectation to reality of what's the community's favorite versus what you thought, does that kind of change your own reflection process on the art? Maybe, in the future when you have something and you're like, this is not landing, I'm not putting it out. Maybe you're going to be a bit more generous to what you're coming up with, to kind of letting it out anyway, or are you already like that by default?
I think so. I think hearing the feedback from collection one definitely it made me want to kind of lean a little more in to the kind of wackiness of the collection. Um, I have this natural like want to make everything like perfect and everything like completely straight and like neat and clean, which is, as you can see, that is like something I kind of look for in the art. I mean, I really try to make sure the line work is like clean and very, very simple so that it translates well in SVG format. But at the same time, I try myself like these eyes, for example. Like I remember when I was sorry, here we go. Like when I first did them, these bees were like just straight up and down. They were both like very like straight up and down, but I kind of gave them this like little outward like angleness to them. Just made it look a little more, I don't know, goofy and playful and not so serious. And that's one thing I really try to project into the collection, is that it's not so serious. It is playful. It's fun. Not supposed to be like, hella upright and like just too stuffy. Not supposed to be that at all. So a lot of the feedback from the first collection from a lot of the community and the collectors were that they appreciated that. They liked how fun and whimsical it was. So I tried to lean in a little more into that this time around with some of these weird characters that some of them make great sense for the lore, while others kind of don't make sense for the lore. But the beauty of this IP is that we can create story behind any type of character. Like a chameleon, for example, it's a weird looking character, right? He's very interesting looking, but he's definitely strange. But from the sense of Pizza Ninja lore, it also does work, right? Because they can blend in, they can change colors. So there's a lot you can do with this character. And then there's things like the Blaze Skull. The Blaze Skull is like my favorite. I just thought it looked badass, and that's kind of the reason I wanted to include it. Is just because it looked badass, and it was something that. Where is the Blaze Skull? I'm thinking of having here. Do I? My iPad got destroyed in Vegas. This is the new iPad, so I don't have everything pulled over.
Wait, like it
I'll-
actually like broke in Vegas?
Oh yeah, I should like share some pictures of it. It got destroyed. I think we had people over at the hotel, and it got a little weird. And I think maybe got stepped on or something. I
Oh
don't know.
man, what
I
the
mean,
heck?
it was smashed all to hell. So thankfully, I was able to recover everything. But now it's all within drives. So I'm like manually importing things over kind of as I need them.
Hey, I do
right now.
real quick. I do want to highlight some of the comments. Secretary not sure said hi for this expansion. I actually met him in Vegas, and he told me some really cool stuff. I won't give his information out there, but things that he wants to do with his ninja. That's super cool. Duckin is here. I'm here because of Pizza Pets reposted some crumbs about that. So this is specifically on the Pizza Ninjas art, but Trevor did drop recently just about basically some updates coming out with Pizza Pets pretty soon. This is the phase 3, so this is the final phase of the pre-sale for the Pizza Ninjas. So there will be a time in between this and the rest of the actual mint for Pizza Pets stuff. So right now it's just kind of all hands on deck for the Pizza Ninjas expansion, but that ends in 9 hours. And we got Sasha throwing up some emojis in the chat. And so yeah, I just wanted to highlight that real quick. Boozy, it looks like you got like one of every hat, on this one.
Yeah, often what I'll do is I'll like duplicate like templates, sort of like, as you see, there's like all these like templates, right? And then I'll have one for each individual character, but I'll basically carry over like any potential like head traits are a good one because they're interchangeable in a lot of ways. I mean, the Blaze Skull is not a great example for that because of the head type, but I'll just like add all of these like head types, and then there's a lot. Sometimes they like click. Like for example, like the robot head's great because everything kind of clicks with that because it's a nice round head. Other times you have to kind of maneuver things and change them around a bit.
I noticed that on the heart one, that there were some really cool head traits because it looks like it like perfectly landed on like the top of the heart when I was going through the heart rerolls the other day.
Yeah.
Which
and
I feel like I haven't
about
seen a whole
this.
lot of hearts. Like I feel like that one might be like kind of maybe a more rare one. I don't know. I guess it depends on the rolls for the actual mint.
Yeah, I think it's turning out to be pretty rare so far. And I'm interested to see too how we do with the remaining of the collection because we're gonna, of course, use some generation. But we're honestly like we did the first time around, we're probably gonna hand curate pretty much the entire collection. So it's gonna be a good time. This comment here for the 4 meggers, yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of customization for the Surprise Me selections. The Surprise Me guy here, this is all kind of broken down now, but this may look familiar to some people.
So will the Surprise Me? I genuinely don't know this. I know it's obviously like random traits, but is it like a potential to get like traits that might not? I'm not gonna say that's not in the rest of the collection, but it's just like super rare. Is that part of the lore for that, or
it's going to be a curation process between me and the individuals that show Surprise Me. So there's not too many of them. So as long as it's within reason, I'm going to make every effort to be hands-on with everyone that selected the Surprise Me option. Let's see where we're at right now too, because I want to make sure I say this and know I can commit to what I'm saying. We're at looks like 12 have done Surprise Me right now, so it's totally possible, totally doable. I'll be connecting with everyone who's selected that option directly and get some inspiration for them and then curate something based on what they kind of are interested in having. So similar to that original process we did in Gen 1, where you would kind of like say, ideally, most people would say they want to look like their PFP. They would say, I want this ninja to look like my current PFP, especially back before the original collection. There was people with, other PFPs, Pudgy Penguins, Bored Apes, whatever it might have been. So I'm going to be doing that, talking to these people, saying, inspire me. What are your favorite colors? What are some themes you like? What are some traits you've seen you like? And then I'll hand curate one based on them directly. So it's kind of a different take as opposed to the re-roll and just kind of going through millions of iterations of ninjas and selecting one that speaks to you. They can hit me with sort of their wishes and I'll curate it specifically for them. So it's going to be a fun process.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like scary, but cool. You know, it's like that's why there's not as many because right now you kind of know what you're gonna get with the rerolls. But the surprise me, you know, it's kind of like walking into a barbershop and just being like, cut it the way you think you want it. You know, like here's what I think I want, just cut it.
Yeah. And again, if it's only a small number of people that selected that, and I can make it work, I'm gonna work with the minter or the person with the pre-sale as much as possible. So if I was to send someone one of the ninjas I made for their surprise me selection, and they're like, "Hey, I love this, but could you change that thumbs up to a different color, red, blue, whatever it is," I would happily make that change for them. So it's still a very custom process, but I do hope that everyone lets me just kind of throw something at them and they just take it because that is fun. But totally get it too. This is
Hopeful said, and this is from a paired, said that would love to see one based on my PFP. Hopeful of NFTs.
Yeah, shout out to Hopeful too. That the Dabble collection that I contributed to has just been amazing. Going through and seeing all these artists. I think it was 103 artists contributed to that collection, so it was really awesome to see. It was all everything was a derivative of his PFP actually. So it was a bunch of skulls and whatnot. It was badass. So
That's really cool.
yeah, Hopeful. We got some skulls in the collection. We got the Blaze skulls, but maybe there's a way to do an interesting trait that utilizes these skulls but it doesn't necessarily have the flame. Could be something fun to do there for sure.
Big time A said the blazing head and shopping bag head are my two faves. Yeah, those are both really cool ones. I like that the shopping bag really, or the bag head, it really like surprised me. That one specifically looks so dope with all like the Bitcoin logo all over it. But yeah, that was one that like I saw some of the early renditions of, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but not my cup of tea. And then like I saw like how many different variations it had for the face, and I feel like more than any of the other characters, it's the dynamic really changes based on the face. You know, like it's like
Oh
a whole
yeah.
new character depending on the face. So yeah, that one I really liked as well. We also got Moraris in here saying GM. Frog Dog said puppet mullet for me.
Yeah. We did some cool stuff with the Blaze Skull. Like we kind of stepped it out of the box a little bit, and considering my vision for the Blaze Skull lore was that they were like sort of like these kind of hoodlum gang members that maybe run around the Ninja City like spray painting and just causing like chaos, and they all wear like hoodies and these bag heads or something like that. We made a lot of the face traits like this like paint style, which is completely different than the usual like kind of clean line work, right? So we had some fun with that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
seeing the way
okay,
it
that's cool.
translates to SVG is interesting. So that's kind
Yeah,
of been the
yeah.
goal to kind of mix it up quite a bit, give them a little bit of
Yeah, you're
grunge to it.
right, man. I see this guy doing some graffiti on the side of a building right now.
Yeah, maybe he's like the
Like,
local, chapter like gang leader or something. We called this guy like Gold Fang. It was his like face name.
yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. And the
This
Blaze
trait, by the
guy,
way, too, is super
yep.
rare. Like I no one's pulled it yet. I watch a lot of these traits are not showing up in the reroll. I think they're just kind of like it's just by chance. Like this one hasn't showed up yet.
Oh, I might have to go for it. I have one more that I can mint. I might have to go for it. See how many times I have to reroll for it. Big Time A said shopping bag really unique. I'm partial to those from A Kid Called Beast days. Yeah, you guys remember that collection, A Kid Called Beast? They're still around, I think.
I do.
Raspy was the CEO's name, I think.
That
Unfungible
was
said,
the one
"Let's
where they
go
all
Boozy."
wore.
Unfungible has he recently posted his customization today. I like the sloths a lot too. Do you have any sloths in here? They
I
just,
think so. Yep.
they just remind me of like a happy character, man. Which also reminds me of a lot of the Dog Army guys, which Unfungible happens to be like just like happy to go lucky people.
This is another one too, where the head traits were really they just work. Like every head trait works because of how. Where is that one selected? Just because of how the head is. It's like I have this purpose too, just for some insight, kind of like you know knowledge as to how I try my best to draw these. Is that like this part right here, this like part of the head, I try to make that line up with like the original character. It's all based on the original ninja, which I don't have him here. You know what? Let's go grab that just for some fun FYI information here. There we
I
go.
thought you were going to say the word Fibonacci at least once just now in the experiment.
I did see Boozy drawing some fibs just then.
Like here's the original classic, like the classic ninja head. So I try to make it like, as you can see, like very similar.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
Yeah.
so that this area, everything kind of like where we put the top of head typically on off to the left like that, so that the thumbs up can go here. You know, or the emojis from Twitter when you're on a space.
Yeah.
So I try to do that, and then everything kind of like works. Like it just clicks so well, like everything, like all of the existing head traits, which is really fun because then you get to kind of expand on the number of variations you can have for not only all character types but the new character types specifically.
Yeah, I feel like that headband or the bandana like really works with most things too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like some don't quite work, but most of them actually work, and some of them we're just repurposing. Like we'll reuse it because they get good feedback, or people might want to see more of them. So we'll try to include them where we can. Like this obviously wouldn't work. It's just strange, you know. And these are things too, like it's just for the purpose of, again, like just diving into the art process is like, this is the kind of stuff that me and the team like kind of go back and forth on a lot. Like things like this portion right here drives me nuts. Like if I see stuff like that in the collection, or like this right here is this little space.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
we're picking out pixels at this point and no one gives a damn. I've noticed. That's one thing I've noticed. No one cares but me. But that's okay, because this is like,
I mean, that's a good thing. Like, you know, these are like a top Bitcoin collection inscribed, you know, on Bitcoin forever. So maybe they don't care, but maybe their kids will care, you know, or their kids or their kids. And I mean, yeah, this is part of what I feel like being like a top artist is about is, I mean, like you said, art's subjective, but like things like that, I would say things like that aren't subjective. Like if they're maybe not those small details, but like, you know, if people just kind of let things slide through the ropes, and it's like, well, you're not, you know, doing your job to the best of your ability.
yeah. And some people, you know, with the custom tool at this point too, we've left it kind of the Wild West for good reason. I mean, we have so many rules set up in the system that I use for generating ninjas, so that certain traits only go with certain traits, certain colors only go with certain colors, and there's a lot of rules in place, probably way more than any collection needs. But again, this is just part of my, I guess, OCD and attention to detail, where like I can't sleep unless I focus on things like that or give that the attention that I think it deserves. But I find people are selecting ninjas with traits that I would have told the rules are not allowed to happen together, but people are choosing them. So me and Mike, the dev, were talking the other day, and I was kind of like saying like, hey, can you implement this rule, that rule, this rule? And he's like, well, people are choosing these things. They like these options. They like these combinations. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but, and he's like, well, you know, remember, this is, again, artist subjective, and, you know, one person may like it even though you don't. So we kind of like, you kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit and said, all right, it kind of gave me the comfort of like, all right, I should step back, let the community select what they want, and then I can kind of work around that.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
it's
it's
been an
even
interesting process.
I feel like in crypto, it's like even a broader audience than other art too. Like, you know, you're not just doing local art for your city or even for your state or even for your country. You know, you're making art like globally. So I feel like in crypto, like, globally, people have different tastes. They're raised with different surroundings and different beliefs and like different everything. So like, it's probably a lot more variety of taste, you know, than like if you're displaying art at like your local, you know, area. Does that make sense? Have you felt that in crypto? Like,
Yeah, I noticed that a lot with like the Asian community. You know, their tastes are they seem to be much different than the taste of those selecting PFPs on, you know, in the West. And that's been interesting too. Is that we've actually gotten a handful of requests from those in the Asian communities for traits that are maybe more in line with like their culture. And me living and being born and raised, you know, in the U.S. and not really having much experience outside of the U.S., I do tend to leave like those communities out. So I always welcome like those communities, or those that aren't feeling like they're represented within the traits, like encourage them to make those suggestions so we can throw them into the collection, and to give them the PFPs that they can, you know, resonate with and be happy to rock on Twitter or Discord or any other platform.
What's a trait example that you would say is like Asian inspired?
The panda. The panda was one that was kind of like a no-brainer, right? A ninja panda is kind of a no-brainer, but that was one that early on, well, after the original collection, I remember someone asking me like, "Why aren't there any pandas?" And I was like, "Oh man, you're right. Like, why aren't there any pandas?" And it's like it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just that for whatever reason it got overlooked originally. And I think that was also too before we went into like the animals, and expanded the lore into including things like elementals and animals and things beyond the kind of human form. But yeah, it was a great suggestion. And then on the flip side too, I've noticed that um, I like to use like the one of my favorite like traits, I guess you can call it, or elements in a collection or in art in general is always like these XIs, like the dead XIs.
Yeah.
I was kind of born in love with like that vintage like 30s like era cartoons, like the rubber hose style cartoons, like old Mickey Mouse and Betty Boop and things like that. And there's always such heavy use of like these types of eyes when the characters were like dead or like knocked out or something like that. And I've always been drawn to that. So I've always used these types of X like eyes in art that I've done, like always. And just X's in general, like the shape of it is, I don't know, something about it is just speaks to me. And this was one I got some negative feedback on, as they weren't crazy about it because I guess in their culture maybe it's I don't want to say offensive, but it's definitely not like something you really necessarily want to pull for some people.
Sure.
So I'm trying my best to kind of dial that back a little bit, even though it is like a kind of a signature of my style. Again, I do want to make this collection speak to everyone as a whole. So the feedback, even that kind of maybe don't include these traits, feedback is always welcome as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I know like eyes is probably like a variety of opinions. I know like some cultures like want you to look them in the eyes, and then other cultures like don't want you to make eye contact, and um, some it might be offensive to make eye contact. Like it's like I could see eyes being controversial, which is funny, even saying that. But like I'm a little offended that I can't tell if Fred's like looking at me or not right now because he's got
It's like
sunshades on.
poker player.
There he is. I'm not offended anymore. I feel better.
And then a lot of people in the U.S., U.S. based people, obviously be like the board eyes, right? Because it's
Yeah.
kind of like OG crypto culture with board apes and whatnot.
I like the board eyes and I have a board eyes mouse because it's like I personally don't take much seriously. Like things I do take serious, I take really serious, but like the broad amount of things that like people try to get me to like care about that are controversial, like I just don't. And so it kind of to me represents part of who I am through my profile picture using that mouse, because like it's not like a disrespectful way. I just like I don't have that passion. I have a passion for a little amount of things. I have a lot of passion for those things. I don't have a passion for a lot of things. So a lot of things I just genuinely don't really have an opinion on or want to argue about or care about. So I feel like the board eyes for my mouse really like translates that for me.
Well, it's also the perfect crypto metaphor for people who've been here for multiple cycles. It's just the jadedness that it brings to you if you've done
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
it.
Like, oh, I got rugged. All right, well, that's my face. Oh, I got a 2x. All right, well, that's my face. Oh,
Yeah.
there's the country is adopting Bitcoin. That's my face. Oh, the country is banning Bitcoin. That's my face. Yeah, that makes sense.
Another war is rugging me and sending our backs to zero. Oh, okay.
Actually,
But yeah, dude. So what was your not necessarily so one thing I want to avoid doing on here is like hyping up like a specific, character, right? Like I don't want to like make one look like it's more superior or more inferior. But just like time's sake, maybe it's because of redos or whatever. Which character of this new collection like maybe like took you the longest slash maybe gave you the most difficulty to like get right? Like which one, do you think of off the top of your head? And why?
Man, it's a tough one because they're all, well, you know what? Probably the raccoon. Probably the raccoon because of the way the eyes are. And yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have all the eye shapes here, but when you do these generative collections and you break everything down into traits, so like your actual eyes, like in this case the Bitcoin B is one trait, and then this like mask portion is another trait here, right? And then of course you got the head as its own trait, and then you got like this little guy as a trait. It can get really challenging, and you find yourself fighting with trying to get everything to click together. Like ideally, every single trait in whatever combination that comes out when you generate will work together, and that can be really challenging when you have like such like this is a good example because these are so different. And the number of times I've had to like redraw like just this part, oops, like just this part here, for example, and it's like it just doesn't line up correctly, or there's some kind of symmetry issue, or and then you fix it. You're like, okay, this looks great. I fixed it now, and then you go to like regenerate, and now this one's not working. I'm like, fuck. Okay, so you have to start over, and you kind of like just keep trial and erroring it until you get it right. So I do remember really fighting with these eyes to get them to work across all the eye types that are just within there. And again, I
That
may have
makes
missing
sense.
some because I lost that iPad, but yeah, that was one hell of a challenge. And then others just kind of click. It's weird. Like for me, maybe not being I think the kind of artist that I am too is sometimes things just work. Other times I find myself digging at them over and over again. You have to kind of step away and just come back at it. But some like the tree head was almost like by accident, just because there's my favorite X's again. I happen to use like the faces from the classic Ninja, and they just clicked, and it was like minor modifications to get them to fit. So it's weird like that. Some things just click, some things don't, and then some things I've scrapped entirely. We had like 30 different character types we played with, as you remember, and like a lot of them just like the idea's there, but it's like I can't get it to where I want it to be to feel comfortable with putting it on chain or putting it in the collection formally.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yes, I do remember that. Zaf said, "Hello, bro. What's up, Zaf? Welcome to the stream." Yeah, man, it's crazy seeing the early renditions and then like where we're at now, right? Like I felt like it was going so many different directions, but it all led to the same place. And so it's really cool seeing these like fit within the collection. Like they all make sense. And yeah, I'm so excited for the lore. I think we're here to talk about the art today, and maybe like in the next week or so, like we can like spend like a whole segment on the lore. But each characters are so distinct, that like I I'm just I'm excited to see how they work. Sorry, I was watching what you're doing on screen while talking.
This trait here too is one that's kind of by popular demand, and we're trying to find a way to implement it. Is of course, the dog for the room.
Yeah, of course, Dog Army.
Yeah, this is something I've kind of fought with and a few times. Is that how do you get this to work, right? Like the hardest thing about this collection too, and the art style, is that it's limiting. I think we made it limiting by design, but I don't realize that making it limiting by design would be as limiting to me as an artist as it is. Like it's just so simple, right? Because everything's very simple in detail. There's really like very minimal like details. Like it's hard to implement some of these traits because they require so many details. Like this is going to require quite a few details to make it work. But normally what I'll do is I'll just throw it in there, make it as detailed as possible, and then, or not as possible, as needed, I guess, to get the trait done, and then work back from there. Like what lines can I remove to simplify it even further?
I like that. Yeah,
What
that's cool.
features can I remove? So it's such a challenge. Like for example, I have been off and on working on that not the shake weight, but the dumbbell for Jan, and like a muscle body. We've talked about this before, and it's a challenge, because how do you take this body and make it look muscular without adding too much detail? You gotta like add like big biceps here and stuff. Like no, it'll muddy it up really fast. And
yeah,
sure, it might look good, and actually, just for fun, let's go ahead and do the teasers of it. Where's Jan's body here? Like, look at this. This is kind of funny. It's kind of goofy, but like it's going that direction. But from like the head and the body, you can clearly see like they're just different. Like they're different art styles. They don't click.
You gonna put some nipples on that one?
Yeah, here we
I
go.
just feel like
do a little nippies.
I feel like we're that swole, you know.
Missing the
Yeah, you gotta
areola.
have little. You gotta have like little nippies, you know.
Oh man.
Now it looks
So
like
it's interesting to do these like types of characters. Like, so a lot of their quests are that way, where it's like I want it to work, but it just takes some reverse engineering in a way to make it work. And again, I never want to put something out there that I'm not completely happy with. So I am working on not being such a perfectionist. Like, what's that saying? Like, perfection is like the enemy of finished, or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it's good.
totally something I'm trying to like work on, is not being such a perfectionist and accept some of the flaws as maybe something that gives it like even more like character. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to find that balance and everything. I've been working on that, but the opposite side, I've been working on like there's a like quantity over quality, you know. If you do a lot of quantity, then like you at least get a lot out there, but you know, not having enough quality like hurts you. Whereas the opposite, if you're just so focused on quality and you don't actually hit send or hit play or release the thing that you're working on, then kind of defeats the purpose of all those hours working on it.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm gonna get Jan one day his dumbbell. One day we'll get that dumbbell in there. Just I gotta be comfortable with it before I do it.
on the 9th collection, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think I'm trying to find this trait. What's that, Chris?
What's like one of your most recent like favorite traits that you've made? Like not most recent, but like from this, like from the expanded collection. Like what's your? Oh, that's sick, dude.
It's the layers are funny right there, but that's, I think, does Jan have the blue, or he has the red? He has the red, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has red.
All right, here we go, Jan. We'll just do a little makeshift
America.
for now. There you go.
He's not even. He's not even. I don't think he's even American. And that's an American looking ninja right there, red, white, and blue.
That's a bodybuilder. That's a bodybuilder ninja right there.
That's awesome.
And this too, like, speaking on the challenges, like that dumbbell I've been fighting with, it's always been so hard to get that, like, to get it to fit in this portion of the frame without going off the frame, or even like even touching it. Like that is no good to me right there. The fact that it even touches like that is just, it just drives me nuts. To me, it's unacceptable.
And then if
you have like the weapon body.
If it's a small dumbbell, you're calling him weak essentially, which is also no go.
I mean,
that's why I think the shake weight would be good, because it's smaller, you know.
Oh, here's Brian said, really want the hoodies to match up to the head like the rest of the clothes bodies, like I did with my PFP. I feel like it makes the hoodie bodies look smaller than all the other bodies.
Yeah, that's something too. Actually, we were DMing about it, and I wanted to show him like one of the original iterations we did of the hoodie body. So I wonder if I can find it in my old files here, and let's pick one and just see if we can throw it in there. Where's the bear? But yeah, originally we had that hoodie. That hoodie, actually, this one is the one that's in the collection right now with like the black neck. I wonder if I have it here, because I think I saw it earlier, just for some historical value. I feel like it's in there. There it is. Yep. Sweet. Let's take a look at it. This was one of the original hoodies. I think this goes back to when we were drawing the collection in like 600 by 600 like pixel width, before we had cracked the SVG style. So we were like really limited, because of course that's back to when the fee rate was higher. So we were trying to find a way to afford doing this and making it feasible to put it on chain. But this was like the original body, actually, like not so much the hand. I'll get rid of that, but you can see how much like weirder it looks and how skinny it is. And then we took the neck away, and we did like where's that hand at? And this is one of my downfalls when it comes to like my art and my style, is like I have no organization. Things are just all over the fucking place, and I just do a bad job doing that.
Can't have it all, Boozy.
Yeah, like my files are just like an absolute mess. Like everything's named like untitled XY number 75. Like it's like I can't find anything. Like how I search where I don't name anything, it's just a mess. But that's something if I could improve upon, I'd be much more efficient. But yeah, this was that original body, and we had a version of it that I would love to find that basically did not have like this whole section here. So it was kind of like just gone. But then to me, it felt a little like crammed. I'm not on that layer. It felt a little crammed or just kind of off. And then we redid it again with the neck at one point, and it just, I feel like it linked up really well with other ninjas. And we actually did get some feedback somewhere along the lines. We were sharing it within the community and with the team, and we all kind of agreed on the final one that's in there now with the neck. I think it's probably too because we were doing things like the bag head at the time, and it just kind of felt right with like the bag head type bodies. But across the collection as a whole, it just felt generally pretty good. But just for fun, I'm gonna test this real quick. I'm gonna slap it on a bear and change the color and see what it looks like if I can get it close to. Let's keep it yellow. Why not? Yeah, I guess you have to pull the whole hoodie up to make it look a little more like Brian's PFP. But let's do it in yellow. You know what? Yeah, let's do it yellow. Because I don't have to fight the whole head, layer traits, and all that. I wonder if that's probably more along the lines of I'm staring at you up close, Brian. What it looks like, which is pretty cool. I mean, it is pretty cool. It does kind of have a vibe to it, especially with the bear. With the bear, especially. Cozy. Yeah, it does look cozy. Yeah, it does look pretty cozy for the Teddy character there. But this is also like an old trait, so it might be spot on. But yeah, and that's another one of those things too. Again, back to back to like people's opinions and how it's just like it's subjective, right? And I was some people like the neck, some people don't. So it's always hard to make that decision as to how you kind of finalize it. I do love what Brian did though, how he modified his own like that, and he rocks it as a PFP like to his liking. That is really cool.
Yeah, I see people do that, not like with traits so often, but sometimes they'll like change the color of the background. Sometimes they'll like, I don't know, add something to it. There was one point where I even like zoomed into mine, but I just thought being part of the team, I wanted to represent it like exactly how you did it. But at the time, I was just like, it looks kind of funny, but it's like zoomed in. Not funny, but like, I don't know. I liked it zoomed in more. I think it was because the Monami ones, the way they're kind of slouched, it like wasn't as centered, and I'm kind of OCD about that. And so that's why I zoomed in. It was something like that. But with my mouse, I don't have to worry about that. My mouse is vertical.
That has been one of the biggest challenges. Is just like I kind of mentioned, getting every single trait to click with every single other trait. It's not always possible. That's where I implement those rules on my side, on my generation side. That's just kind of cut those possibilities out. But then, like I mentioned too, now I see people putting those together in the customization tool. So if people like it, we're gonna let it roll. There are a handful of traits I've seen selected so far, or trait combinations in the custom gen that, again, I won't be able to sleep at night unless we like address them. One off the top of my head is like the bag head over the Wing Chun body. It leaves, I don't have it here. Again, that's my problem too. I have so many different like templates. It's not everything is directly in front of me at all times. But there's like a small gap between like the neck or the lower part of the bag head, and then where it connects to the Wing Chun, there's like this like microscopic little gap that just drives me absolutely crazy every time I see it. So I'm gonna have to make a minor adjustment to the bag head that, again, no one's gonna notice. Literally no one's gonna notice it but me. But I have to make a slight adjustment to that bag head now. And then that in itself becomes an error or an issue or a challenge because, okay, I'll fix it with that combination, bag head and Wing Chun when I look good together. But then how's the bag head going to look on top of the combat gi body? How's it going to look on top of the stoic body? How's it going to look on top of the hoodie? It's going to like, I have to now test all of them to make sure that they all are looking good and not one is affected because I changed the other. So it's this weird process of like, you just run generation after generation and you just kind of like scroll through and just look for every possible error, and hopefully you find them all. But I know one thing for sure: we're not going to have this product or this collection shipped with any kind of like watermarks on them. We won't be doing that like some collections have them.
I saw that. I saw that happen a few days ago. That's crazy. On the backheads, it's probably a dumb question, but for the record, I've been out for the earlier this week. We had a beach trip planned with my family for a while. But so like for the backhead with the Bitcoin all over it, right? Does that come in every color, or is that like just the brown ones, or like?
It would be in every color. Yeah, it would be. It would be. Let me show the layers work. It'd be like a face trait. So like you have this face, for example, would just be like its own face trait.
Okay, gotcha.
You have any color underneath it. Yeah.
I'm rolling right now
cool
on my own, and trying to roll that one because I like it so much.
Yeah, I know we've been
okay.
Yeah, so you could do any color. It'd be like the bag head would be the base layer, of course, and then you'd have the face on top of it, whichever face you choose.
Now I'm struggling. There's so many good possibilities here. I feel like I gotta get a back head though. I just don't even know what color. Let's see.
Yeah, there's so much that's not like uncovered yet, and I think it's just the way the rules have worked and how many traits there are. And I guess a lot of it's derived too and how it's selected. Every question you answer through the process is going to generate based on those selections. I know a lot of people are looking for like the BTC chain, and that trait in itself is kind of on the rarer side. And I think it was designed that way to be kind of on the rarer side, but it's also, if you were to pick, you wanted a simple ninja, that trait likely would not show up because that's an added trait on top of the stoic body. So I think to get that one, you're gonna have to be somewhere in like the middle, like moderate to like trait heavy side to get that one.
Yeah, I know Ken was like rolling for that Bitcoin chain.
Me too.
Fred too. Did you ever get it, Fred?
Nope.
Did you get your ninja that you're going with?
I didn't get it yet, no.
Oh. Are you rolling right now like I am?
Well, you know what the worst is? I was testing something out on staging related to checkout, and I just checked out with some random ninja because Kfish was asking me like whether it worked, and now it's like stuck with that.
Oh no!
Yeah. And Kfish is like not resetting it for me. So I don't know.
He's I know they've been really busy this week trying to implement everything.
But the team eats last is what I'm gonna say to that.
That's true.
That's right.
I can confirm that. I mean, I'm saying that right now as I'm looking for my ninja.
If you find a Bitcoin chain mouse, you're gonna have to give it to me.
I'm gonna sell it.
Thanks.
Sell it to you.
Thank you.
I'll charge you it's a 0.01 mint. I'll charge you 0.012 for it. For my labor. That's a labor cost. There's like
it's a 4 megger. I'll take it.
For like shipping and handling or whatever. That's I'll charge you that. Put in the work. Oh dude, I just found oh dang it. Wait, can I go? Dang it. I just found the craziest baghead I've ever seen, and I accidentally hit next. I wouldn't have minted it, but I really wanted to show you guys. Oh dude, I just thought of something really cool that I haven't done yet. I'll report back to you in just a second. See how it turns out. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a lot of like, and maybe there has, I just haven't seen them. A lot of like sports team like references, like how people just like are big fans of like sports, like for colors. I'll show you what I mean in a second.
That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, even beyond sports, like I think I would love to have one that's like Miami, like South Florida colors, like that, like neon pink turquoise, green, like white and black. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess if people are doing that, we wouldn't really have a clear way to know. What's that, Fred?
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
That could have been a cool addition though to the process, is to select maybe a number of colors you like. Try to get like theme-based color ninjas.
I mean, I'm just doing that right now with our normal process. I have the colors that I want. Man, that ninja earlier was so crazy, dude. Nah, I accidentally skipped it. So sad at that. It was like one of the craziest like ninjas I've ever seen. Is there any more? So I know obviously you do the art, but is there any more that like as you're creating or like after you created that like you were thinking about lore and how it tie into the great like I don't know, just like the characters that they'd be?
Yeah, we had a lot of. We have a lot of elemental design stuff. Like the flame head kind of fits that with the fire, but it'd be great to have like ice characters or like water characters. I've always thought that was really cool. I mean, I'm as we build this stuff out, I'm super inspired by like Pokemon. I mean, like I think a lot of us probably are with
Yeah.
our age range. But things like the Pokemon concept is just too cool to me. It's like not only is it elemental, it's these animals, and there's just so much content and lore you can build out from that. I mean, I would love to have every single animal in this collection, every single elemental in this collection. I'm talking hundreds of character types. That would be just fantastic. But sure, is a lot of work, but it'd be great if we could do something like that. The
Yeah.
sloth to me was one of the ones that I am so glad we put in there. The idea that's probably my favorite one from the lore standpoint. The idea of a sloth ninja is just too funny. I mean, really slow moving, like not at all. Like it's like the exact opposite of what you think when you think of a ninja. But it's just so funny to me. Like a sloth that's like in a battle and he's just like super duper slow. Like his opponent's like just zipping around him or something.
It's an oxymoron. A sloth ninja.
It's too good. I love it so much.
It's up there on the list of like generally most liked animals somehow, with panda and maybe capybaras.
Their vibe, bro. They just kind of like, slowly get around all day. They're like sweet. Like,
Yeah, they eat and sleep all day. I mean, what's not to love about that?
yeah, that's what we aspire to be as humans.
Have you guys heard the stories of? I think I heard the story in Costa Rica because sloth is like the national animal there. When they hang on like trees and stuff, or the telephone lines, some of them they have green backs because they're so slow that the moss and like plants grow on their backs. And then they're also so silly that sometimes they mistake their own arm for a branch.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hold it here, they grab here, and then they fall. And it's tragic.
I have seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but like I've heard about that. It is tragic and kind of funny. Because I think, yeah.
What about other more, let's say, out there, out of pocket traits? When I think, for instance, one of the most out of pocket things in Pizza Pets was the summoning of King Poop, which is happening. Are there like some stuff that are like a bit more on the edge that you had on the drawing board?
Oh man, I mean, I can't believe the toilet paper head was approved in the first place by Trevor. To be honest.
Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm plugging my laptop. I'm losing battery here. Oops, guys. Yeah, let's see. Let me pull up. Let me see what we got for the new trait selection here. The new list. because there are quite a few traits that have not been seen, as I mentioned, but some that are not seen by design because they're intended for like classic head types. They're not intended to be for the new head types. And with the pre-sale, that's the focus is to give people the first chance at like the new characters and the first opportunity to select the new character types. But there's some pretty wild things in here that probably didn't even like get approved, because every trait we do pass it through the team and kind of get everyone's consensus on it. So it's not just me going kind of willy-nilly. As fun as that would be, the collection would likely be pretty chaotic.
I just found a cool bag head, but it's not as cool as the one I found earlier. I'll keep it and show you guys later. Oh, never mind. I just re-rolled it on accident. There goes that one. Yeah, man, I didn't realize getting this Bitcoin bag head is gonna keep me up tonight.
Got about 8 more hours.
Oh, that's right. I'm saying tonight. Like, I gotta do this now.
There is this dinosaur head trait that's kind of ridiculous in here. I'm looking at it's like dino spikes on the head. And there's like,
there's like
different colors and.
Are we like supposed
I think
to
I
show
gotta
that
keep
right
it
now?
a secret.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
I think there's some things where we're potentially gonna like wait for reveal kind of situation.
Yeah, it makes sense.
This one is pretty ridiculous. Like, I don't know why I made this one like rainbow colored, but this ninja is absolutely ridiculous looking right here. And there's no guarantee it'll make it to the collection, but I mean, if I have any say in it, I'm gonna include it. It's pretty cool.
I wanted to have like after the release have like a whole space dedicated to what almost made it, but I want to say I ran that by somebody, either Ken or Trevor or somebody, and they're like, "Oh no, we shouldn't do that." But I don't know. I thought it'd be cool. Like, I don't know. I can't think of a good example like parallel to that right now, but I know some people do that with other things of like, things that almost made it to whatever, but they didn't.
I know. I love that concept. Love that idea. It's kind of like the reject traits, like the reject file. We should do something like that. I'm gonna see if we can make that happen and just kind of like encourage people just to shit on my ideas, because some of them are absolutely stupid and I don't know why, what I was thinking. But again, that's kind of my play is like I just kind of have fun with it, and if it works, it works. If it makes sense, it's cool. But a lot of time it's just ridiculous.
This is probably dumb, but I imagine like in like a animation, like just somewhere random in the animation, the ninjas run into like a reject ninja, and he's got like all the traits that were rejected, like kind of like a defective ninja or something, like in the animation.
I mean, that'd be a hilarious character. Yeah, it'd be hilarious. I mean, like that actually could be like a grail in the collection too. Like the crazy Frankenstein. Like,
yeah.
Ninja.
It's kind of like, you remember like Kevin kind of went viral as far as crypto is concerned when like, was it Pixelmon released their art, and like Kevin just looked so derpy and ended up like everybody wanted it because it was so freaking derpy.
I totally agree. I think to me, Kevin specifically in the NFT culture is like historic now, because it's like the wave that it caused and how it just what it was at the time. It was like peak NFT, like dumbasses. Like it's just so funny, and I think I can't believe we got to do a homage to that. Like that's one. Like Kevin in the virtual collection is one that I made and kind of for fun. And I showed it to Trevor and he was like, "That's awesome." I was like, "Yeah, can we have it? Can we keep it? Can we keep it, Dad?"
I mean, Pixelmon's still building,
Yeah.
Yeah. Saw they did something recently, but it's not an ordinal, so it's not important.
I've had such a hard time doing anything but ordinals or like caring about anything other than ordinals in the NFT space, and that's probably like not the best play, but I there's like not enough time to go around. I can't focus anywhere but ordinals right now.
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. It really depends on the season. I had somebody DM me today saying like they haven't really touched ordinals in a while, but they want to get back in. And it's cool to see that interest like randomly kind of coming up, especially in during times of like the whole market's kind of pulling back. Whole market's pulling back except for my shorts that I did today. Those are decided to be the tokens that went up.
This is supposed to be dog, like a Shiba, but now it's just like a Shiba with the mask on. So we're gonna have to make some changes eventually.
I met the founder or co-founder of Shiba Inu in Vegas. The coin.
Oh no way!
Yeah, he was cool. He told me some things they have coming. That was pretty cool too. Oh, dude! Oh my gosh! Wait, here, let me share it. Look. Oh wait. Dang it! You know, I don't think I've ever. It's not what I thought, but I don't think I've ever seen these stacked.
Can you share it? Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm about to. I'm about to. Dang, I was so excited. It's still exciting, but a little less exciting than what I thought it was. Where is it at? Wait, why is it? Whatever, I'll just do this. Look at this one, dude. It's got the paint body with the Bitcoin sweater on top of it. I didn't even know that was a thing. But the reason I got so excited is because I thought it was the Bitcoin face with a paint body. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I have not even seen the Bitcoin like shirt body stacked on top of the paint body like that. That's interesting.
I haven't either.
That is crazy.
It's still a crazy one,
That's
but
really
like,
cool.
yeah. But I thought it was on the face, and I was like, oh, that's it. I would have minted that on the spot, or you know what I mean. I would have sent in my fund to reserve this ninja on the spot if that was the face. That's so cool though. Is that you can be honest, Boozy, is that one of the ones that like that bother you that it's stacked, or are you okay with that?
Yeah, it bothers me. It bothers me.
Yeah,
it's a little too like, and you know what? And I'm not seeing it up close. Like if I actually looked at it up close, it might not be so bad. But I got a feeling I would have some aches on that one. I looked at it for too long.
Well, I guess that's the beauty of doing this is if like it just because I mean it says at the top, right? Like if the trait and positions are issues, then like those can be cleaned up before inscribing, and so that's the beauty of it not being like the mint yet.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna. I mean, there's definitely a balance between giving the collector and and the minter that gets the pre-sale what they want, but also making sure the collection is good, right, as a whole. So there's going to be plenty of changes. I mean, I'm looking at it now, plenty of changes, but I do think that they're not even going to be like noticeable, to people. Again, it'd be those little things, like little errors or not errors, I guess little gaps and things that shouldn't have gone together that now are put together. Honestly, don't think most people will even notice the difference. It'll be crazy people like me that catch those things. So like this right here, for example, is like this is gonna drive me nuts. This little like part right here. But with the type of trait that we're trying to build out, I mean that could just be fixed by doing something like this, for example. And then this leads me to another issue, which I'm going to talk about here as I do this. Okay, so boom, right? Cleared up. But now you have this individual trait that now has this by itself. Now, no one will see that, right? Nobody will ever notice that because when they are put together, they're put together with the body. So there's not an issue there, right? So it's totally fine. But if you look at the traits on chain, even these things are accounted for. Like we try to make sure that every trait by itself, looks good as own individual art piece. That's another part of the collection I think that no one notices because no one probably cared to take the time to look at the traits individually on chain. But that's kind of stuff we pay attention to as well, is that every trait by itself needs to look good and looks clean. Because gone are the ways of the old days of IPFS, when you made collections and you had them like generative like this with traits, you can do whatever you want, whatever is not seen, like whatever's in the areas, in these areas here, what's going on between these two traits right here, it doesn't matter because they're never seen on their own. But in ordinals, they're all individual inscriptions, right? So everything in its sense
makes
is its own
sense.
individual art piece. It's like when this
Yeah,
trait is done, it needs to be like clean and pretty all by itself.
That's interesting to think about, like just how much like your one ordinal is actually like 10 plus art pieces more than that.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's one of the things that's really cool about ordinals, and I love that all the traits for these types of collections on ordinals they're out there to the public and they're visible. And I'm surprised that no one's ever used them yet, because you can effectively, someone can recursively call all the ninjas traits and build their own collection out. Wouldn't be very ethical, and it wouldn't get the provenance, or wouldn't get the attention it is as the original collection, of course. But in theory, you could do that, right? It's pretty interesting. So even stuff like this has to go. Like, it has to be cleaned up.
This
It wasn't
one feels,
noticeable before.
I feel like I haven't seen this baghead, Boozy. Look right here. This face is this one more rare?
That's
Like the face?
that's two traits that, in my opinion, shouldn't go together either. But from here, it looks kind of cool. The
Oh,
circle
man.
face is a face trait, and then the drawn spray painted crown is in the
Okay,
headband.
yeah. I thought it was its
trait
own
category.
thing. Okay.
That's one of those weird combos that on my side of the generation.
That's a cool combo, though.
It is pretty cool looking, though.
I like that one.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a
realize
great
that.
example of one that I would have built rules against to never have occur.
I'm still rolling for this one tatted up baghead, man. I believe he's in here. Oh, Bitcoin chain.
Go.
Not gonna lie though, I don't like this color combo.
Yeah, the green is hard to match.
Yeah, that goes to like if your sports team is like green and white, like that's your ninja right there. But other than that, it's just not my combo. Fred, what's your favorite outside the mouse?
I'm not gonna lie, I think the robots are quite clean.
Robots. I don't.
Robots and bears.
Oh my!
I like the robot a lot. Robot Scream. Glad to see those coming out pretty frequently.
This one's kind of cool. Oh my gosh, the double Bitcoin block.
This one is dope.
Double Bitcoin block and a jester.
That one is pretty dope.
So on brand. Can I have this one?
You're gonna send me 0.01?
Yeah. I will.
I do like the double Bitcoin block. That's cool.
This is the gesture. You can do crazy lore with this.
That is true. Got to keep that in mind. See, my mind just goes like, obviously, like Pizza Ninjas as a whole is about IP and lore, but I'm such a simple person. I go through like things that my mind automatically likes, so it's hard for me to keep both of those in mind when I'm scrolling through.
Did you put the kiddos in front yet? In front of the generator?
No, I haven't actually. Like, this is another Bitcoin block. I haven't. We were at the beach most of the time that this was going on, so I haven't really had a chance. They would love it. They would love this though.
Still got 8 hours.
Still got time, yeah. But, I don't really put my kids on camera, but if I did, that'd be such a cute video of them like picking ones that they want. I like when the headbands match with the color, but again, that's just my simplicity speaking. I'm like, oh gosh, I was sitting here staring at my back head. Meanwhile, Boozy's like crushing it over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check this out too. This is where it gets weird with layers and traits. You have to find a way to make the balance work. Like the original, theoretically, this trait would go on top of the body. So it'd be like the body, and then stacked on top would be this trait. And then you run into the issue of now where the head is now covering like the ears of the dog. Like it doesn't make sense. So I'd have to find a way to now make this trait work, but also get this to work. So I mean, does that mean breaking this into 2 traits where now like the top part of the dog is now above like the head? It's generative like PFP art is very interesting, especially when it gets complex like this. Yeah, some things are so like some
real
textures
quick,
are simple, but
check this one out. Melee, it's got a Bitcoin block, Bitcoin chain, and then the Bitcoin staff.
yeah, that's pretty thugged out.
Yeah, that one's just sick, dude. I feel like this you're talking about like gangs. This would be the gang leader. He's the one that's ordering around some of the other bagheads to go like do his dirty work while he sits up in his empire. You know, like chilling.
His alias is Purple Chain.
He's the one that's telling the jester to dance for him and do tricks.
Now you're making the gesture a whole lot less appealing.
Bro, I got two Bitcoin chains in one roll.
That's the McDonald's one.
That's the colors, yeah. But
yeah, I like the red and yellow a lot together. That's always a good one for me. Like if that headband was red, honestly, that would be like in the hand. The hand needs to be red too, I think. But that would be one I would definitely want.
I was gone for, like I said, a couple days. I forget how fun this was. I like this one. It's super clean. This one also reminds me of like a villain that like looks derpy, but like will like conquer. You know, has a whole like huge army. Oh, whoops! I didn't even mean to keep that one, but I guess I did. Here, I'll go back to Boozy screen. If you guys are watching this and you haven't done the customization process, if you have the ability to do so, you need to do it just for fun. I mean, like, I know there's a couple of people just because of, like, funds and stuff like that. Like, I understand, but like, just go through the process just to go through the process. Like, it's so freaking cool. So like, it's just fun to like seal the different combinations.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm gonna have to build out my wife's ninja tonight. I'm gonna spend probably a long time re-rolling this, but I am looking forward to it though. It's fun. I have a good time seeing the combinations that come through that even I wouldn't have expected.
Look, you got Boozy, you know my monochrome heart, and here we go. Look at this one. Look how clean that is. That blue one at the bottom left.
Yeah, I like that the sword too matches the body,
everything.
And the head, and everything. And you see that little gap just to the right of the sword between like the Wing Chun body and the neck.
Right here.
It's like it's even smaller than that.
Oh yeah, right here.
That little thing. I gotta fix that.
Yeah, I would have never noticed that, Boozy.
Yeah, I think
but I admire the dedication to perfection.
Well, yeah, he couldn't be doing what he's doing without it. It's just
exactly.
And the type of collection, the type of art style that it is too, like things like that, they kind of compound. Like if there was a bunch of those little errors, it just wouldn't look as clean as it does. I mean, it's just it has to be like that to complement like the art style and the line work and everything and the simplicity of the collection as a whole. Like it has to look like a sticker, you know, that anything you can just remove, you know, and it's just by itself, it's a sticker.
Yeah.
And Tully says that Tree Man Teddy, Hard-Headed Ninjas, the Tree Man is one that I think I want to see a lot more of, especially like the kind of the feminine tree heads. Like there's one trait I am quite obsessed with. I wonder if I have it listed here already. Let me add it real quick. It's like the butterflies. Have you seen that one?
Show it anyways.
I think that one might even be like not picking up too much in the re-rolls. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. These trades here. Like this is one that I'm super like excited about
Never
because it does
even
get a
saw
little
this.
detailed.
What the heck?
Yeah, this one's really cool. I think I saw somebody nailed it. Like they had like all purple tree head with a pink
What?
face. It was so cute. It was great.
This is so cool.
Oh no. This is a cool one though. I thought I got a Bitcoin bag again, but it's the shirt. But this one looks a lot better. But there's
The head traits for this are just too cool too. I think the tree head's definitely like underrated. Like Trevor's, like the nest, like bird nest. Like that's
the
just
nest is really cool.
that's
Yeah,
just so funny to me.
yeah, I think it's great. What about the sap?
The sap is fun. Yeah, where's that one at? Yeah, that one's fun. Where's the? Here you go. And this is a good example of one too, of a trait that I'll have to like clean up before we ship the inscription. Like, see how I had to kind of like get weird and creative with it, like by itself.
Yeah,
So I'll probably like effectively do something like I'll probably do something like this where I kind of connect all the lines, but in like a clean way. So it's like one singular piece, you know? So the inscription itself is like kind of a singular like head top resting piece or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out so that I look at it by itself. I'm satisfied with it. See, little stuff like that, it doesn't matter. I'm probably wasting time, to be honest, but I can't help it. It has to be right. Here's a good example too of where I had to get like I just had to throw a little something in there, this little like part here. Otherwise, you'd have this gap right here in the head
yeah.
in this area. Yeah, like all this would have been like exposed, and it just kind of like you don't need that orange right there. It just kind of like takes away from the way the bird and everything is. Yeah, we're gonna do thorns are pretty cool too. I like the thorns in the head. That's pretty neat. I'm sorry, I gotta take 1 second, step away. I'll be right back.
Oh, no worries. I think I'll let you step away, Boozy, but we're probably gonna wrap up soon. We're an hour and 17. We're gonna do an hour, but we'll let Boozy get back and kind of wrap some talk up and call it a day. You know, you guys, you have like 8.5 more hours to do that. Actually, 7 hours, 47 minutes, and 12 seconds left to do the rolls and reserve your ninja there. So if you're gonna do that, do it now. Or I just know that tomorrow, you know, everybody's gonna be like that missed it is gonna realize they missed it, and they're gonna be like, "Wait, can you open it back up?" And yeah, if you do it now, yeah, I won't be able to be the one to open it up for you. So message Fred, send all your complaints that way.
Yeah, Sesame open is the code word. If you send me that DM, I'm still not going to be able to do anything for you.
Fred's like, let me open it for myself.
Yeah.
Let me in. Get me in. Oh my gosh.
I'm back, guys.
Did you just like throw your iPad across the room? You like gave up?
That was
You know, it would be cool, man. How hard this would be to roll. If you got, look at this Bitcoin one that matches that. If you got like Bitcoin sweater and you got Bitcoin bag head, and it's just like the bees all the way. That would be like a giant, like a onesie.
Let's take a look and see if we can do that actually on us. It's the weapon body, and then on top of the weapon body is.
By the way, I've been calling it tats the whole time. I know that it's a sweater, but I just like to think of it as like, you know, especially on the tree guy, because like I don't like think of trees as wearing sweaters. I think of them having like scars or whatever. So I've been calling it Bitcoin tats.
I think I called it like Bitcoin swag or something like that.
Swag, yeah, I think that's what it's called in the selection. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
that,
dude.
any color could be fun.
Oh my gosh, that would be
ridiculous,
cool.
but it's pretty fun.
I don't think it's. I think it's cool. It's like it's like a onesie, man. It's like you want to stand out, you know. Like I'm not a onesie kind of guy, but
Yeah,
somebody is, and it stands out.
there you go. That's better. See, that was driving me nuts. That little gap there. I might have to make that adjustment so that I can go with this body better. But then now, what else did I mess up? Like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, what other heads
That's
are going to be now conflicting?
That's a sleep
fun,
on
though.
eye. This is a pajama.
I do like this fawn though. I love the fawn with the bag. I mean, obviously it makes sense, like paper
Yeah.
bag. But
Yeah, I do too.
that's
But
one of my favorite colors in the collection.
Same, but literally all of my stuff is fawn, so like I need some diversity in my portfolio, my ninja folio. Because I literally have like fawn ninjas, and now my mouse is like as fawn as you can get. And I'm almost wearing fawn right now, wearing like fawn-ish colors.
I think I like the contrast with the orange. It's almost
Yeah, me too. It pops.
it mutes. Like it's like it feel like the background is hard to look at. I mean, I love this background, but I am biased because I have been staring at it for like 1,000 hours. My retinas are just kind of seared. But tell you, man, I sleep and I see FF 5400 orange.
FF 5400 orange. Oh, I just realized this page I was hovering over has my like mic as well. Like my original Ninja mic, this one. And it matches the golden tooth.
That might be the first time I've seen the golden mic pop up too.
I've seen it a couple times. I had it on a couple mice, whatever, and I almost got it because my Ninja has the golden mic. So I really thought about it, but I didn't.
It's definitely on the rarer side, that color on the mic.
Yep, it is.
I haven't seen many of the new mic, the Rockstar mic either. I don't think I've seen too many of those selected.
I've seen a good bit.
I love the paintbrush like hand trait we added. I hope to see a lot more of that in the collection.
I do too.
That one's really cool.
Oh, dude, I literally just rolled, and it was like two of the mics you were just talking about, right here. And like this one's got a guitar on his back too. It's like a rock star.
Yeah, that's fun.
This is so fun, dude. But I got to make a decision soon.
It's also a infinite activity. Like you cannot find an end to this activity.
Pedro said, which by the way, did you see Pedro's ninja looks like the Martian?
Marvin the Martian, yeah, I love it so much. I love it so much.
That's crazy, dude. How awesome is that? But he says the site link different. No, it's just pizzaninjas.com. Just make sure, like, if it's bringing you to the what's it say? I can't go through the process. It just shows my first ninja I did. Maybe just like change the backslash. Maybe it's like redirecting you to that. This is a clean one. But again, I'm a sucker for the simple ones. He's got the trench coat red, bag head red, black shirt. That one's really clean. Dude, look at the black body on that. Clean. Dude, red, like, this is nice.
That one's really clean. Yeah, I like that.
That's one of my favorite bag heads I've seen. Sorry, Bluey. You're out. You're in. I kept the jester, Fred. Oh, here's the paintbrush you were talking about with the Bitcoin necklace. Yeah, so is this body the same? Or I guess it's no, this is the classic black, right? It's got to be.
The color, you mean?
Yeah. Well, the color is the same, but like, is this layer the same as the under layer of this, just without the arm?
No. The
okay.
The trench coat body is like a singular body. and then there's like color variations where there's like the black in the middle, or just sometimes white, and then the red like coat itself. So there's a handful of those like combos. That's a single trait.
I don't see the nunchucks very often.
Yeah, or the I don't think I've seen this one either. This might be one of the ones that was purposely kind of on the rarer side. This
here. I haven't seen this at all.
This one should be in there. If it's not, well, it'll be popping up.
What is it? Like, what's that called? That weapon?
It's the, what is it called?
This spear on a
kunai.
Kunai on a chain.
Yeah, scorpion.
I have some kunai at my house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I used to throw them just for fun.
You ever make them like stick to anything, or just slap against the wall?
Nice. Trees, but you're like not really supposed to because it eventually kills the tree. But I didn't really have an alternative, so every once in a while I would set up like boxes in front of the tree. That way I wasn't like hitting the trees directly. Fence posts aren't bad either, but obviously not the best thing for fence post.
I'm even terrible like the axe throwing thing. You go to the bar and they have like the axe throwing.
Yeah,
I'm just terrible at it.
I'm not bad, but I also have an axe that I throw at my house. I used to do that pretty often. I enjoy it.
I'm like actually curious about this now. I want to play with it.
So, yeah, Pedro says when I link it says congrats eligible for phase 3, but then says I cannot create. Let me send this to. I got you, Pedro. I'm gonna send this to our devs. See if they can look into it. And on that note, we're probably gonna wrap up relatively soon. I know Fred has to leave, and we're a little bit over time anyways. But if you guys have any more questions about the art or any last minute things, like please let us know.
Yeah, and guys, like the final mint hasn't happened. So if there's anyone out there that's maybe wasn't able to do pre-sale, but they're going to be taking their shot at the standard mint. I mean, we got a little time. We can add some new traits in. I'd be happy to throw them in there if I can get them in. So make those recommendations in the Discord.
I'm sending Pedro's problem in right now. Sweet. All right. With all that being said, Pedro, I'll try to get back to you. Just DM me on Twitter if you're still having issues with it later. I just asked the devs. I know we don't have much time as far as the pre-sale goes, so hopefully I can figure that out soon. Boozy, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No. Just I'm glad I can finally get on a stream with you guys and hang out, and definitely look forward to doing this. Some more. If we can make it work time-wise. And thank you to everyone who's minted the pre-sale so far. I'm excited to reach out to everyone that's done the surprise me option. That's going to be fun working with everyone individually in the curation process. Those who did a 4 megger, let's go ahead and start thinking about what you want to do with the 4 megger. We have some ideas. Trevor and I have been passing ideas back and forth as to how to fill that space, but there's a lot of room for activities now. So if you have ideas, please share them with us when in the chats, in the DMs, whatever. And just love you guys, love the community, love the ninjas. Just super excited to keep working on this until the day that I die.
Heck yeah, man. That was a great way to end it. I wish there was we need like a ending Pizza Ninja like phrase, but we'll think about that at a later time. With all that being said, we will see you guys next week and hope to have Boozy back on. It's been a pleasure having you, man. And see you guys soon.
All right, cheers, everybody.